Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I want to share something with you today that is a specific field that I was introduced to in my very first assignment at Mayo Clinic that has been a game changer in helping me help others creating the changes that they'd like to in their lives, and certainly in my own life as well. Real quick, if you are new to me, my name is Berta Lippert, and I'm a Mayo Clinic trained and board certified health and wellness specialist, and where I specialize is behavior change and helping people create the changes that they'd like to in their lives. So the specific field that I was introduced to in the very first research that I had to dive into while studying at Mayo was on positive psychology. And positive psychology is the science of well-being, kind of looking at what is going right in someone's life and learning what their values are and helping them go and prioritize and achieve happiness and feelings of gratitude or accomplishments, feeling proud, these different virtues and emotions and experiences that are important to that person. Now, positive psychology, some people may have a question about how it relates to clinical psychology, the psychology that you're probably thinking about. Does it try to say that that's wrong or that doesn't exist? And that's absolutely not the case at all. You can kind of look at positive psychology as a subfield. But we're the founder of positive psychology, who is credited mostly with Martin Seligman. But he basically, I think it was early 60s, he had said that he started in clinical psychology. And you guys probably know him by learned helplessness and a lot of the work that was done by him and his team there. But he basically, started out wanting to help people and going into this field wanting to try to alleviate some of the suffering that he saw people living. And he did accomplish that. And so did the clinical field of psychology. And that is something that's very valuable. Positive psychology doesn't try to dismiss clinical psychology, which is the focus on what is wrong with people and the negative and the illnesses that they have and try to get them to a certain threshold where they're no longer suffering. But what Martin wanted to do is get above that threshold and not only help people no longer suffer, but flourish and experience happiness and emotions and living life according to their values. So I want to make sure you know right off the bat that positive psychology isn't trying to say that clinical psychology is wrong. It's kind of more of a subfield of it, if you will. And also I want to make sure I tell you right off the bat, positive psychology is not the same thing as positive thinking. So there's a ton of self-help books out there or videos or information that you'll find on positive thinking and positivity, basically, thrown at you trying to say ignore everything else. Just think positive, ignore any negative emotions or this or that. And that couldn't be further from the truth of what positive psychology is either. So it definitely takes into account and recognizes. In fact, Marty Seligman had partnered with Csikszentmihalyi. You might have heard about their work in the military with people who had experiences with traumatic events, such as obviously what it might be like in combat, and helped establish something called post-traumatic growth, where in some cases you can take those very negative traumatic experiences and help people develop from them and grow from them as well. So it's a really neat field, and it really is something that I want to stress that is a science, and it's really not even completely new. Seligman certainly doesn't take credit for all of it. If you think back to some philosophers, Socrates or Plato, Aristotle, and living the good life, or other psychologists certainly were instrumental. Abraham Maslow and Rogers and James, Bandura, certainly, the one I think is probably the backbone to positive psychology is Marie Yehuda. So Marie Yehuda's concept is the one about, lack of illness or a lack of disease doesn't necessarily equate to health. So kind of partner that idea and taking it to the next level with science and interventions, tools that we can use in our life to get above that threshold. So even if we don't necessarily have an illness that we're struggling with or, poor mental health, we're still above that. And this is the whole concept of flourishing. And you probably heard of flow. And I'm going to get into all of those in future videos, and I've already shared a lot of components about positive psychology as well. But I just wanted to get on here today and film this really quick video to maybe serve as an introduction into positive psychology if you're not familiar with it. And there's three main pillars that I'll get into with regards to positive psychology and positive emotions and experiences, virtues, and institutions where we create communities of experiencing this as well. So I'll get into that later. But again, the main point is I want you to know it doesn't try to negate clinical psychology. It's not the same thing at all as positive thinking and just think positive. And it's a bigger picture of helping people live well in the science of well-being. So again, I will put a link in the description box below where you can learn more of that's where my specific specialization is, out of University of Pennsylvania. So I'll put a link to that site down below if you'd like to learn more. And then just obviously check out my channel. I have a ton of other resources, and I'll be creating even more videos about this as well. So I hope you found this useful. And if you do like topics like this, make sure to subscribe to my channel and consider joining my VIP list. It's free. It's just an avenue that I use where on the first of every month, I send resources just like this right to your inbox. And you can join us there at bertavip.com. So I appreciate you letting me share this with you, and I will see you next time.